Today, it was the last checkpoint ever in 2024.
What's Paul's gift to you?
Christ, that surprised me.
Anxiety.
I didn't even see that coming. Wow.
Let's talk about it.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
good.
I guess if that means there's definitely no more video game news ever again,
Yeah.
which maybe is a good thing for our own sanity.
If you were curious as to whether I tell my co-host what I'm going to say for the intro before I do it, now you know.
We don't tell each other anything about what we're going to do in the opening, which is what makes it so fun and interesting and anxiety-inducing sometimes. Who knows? All kinds of emotions could happen.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about the week's video game news, as well as the episode of Checkpoint that went up yesterday, and anything else that we happen to feel like talking about.
I mean, Astrobot won Game of the Year, so maybe we could just call video games done. We could be like, you know what? A good thing happened. Let's just stop.
Yeah.
Let's just stop.
Well, what about Astrobot 2?
Well, then we can come back.
Also, if we stop now, then we won't get Silk Song.
I don't think we're ever getting
Oh,
so
no.
That's never happening, Paul.
Oh, you've moved on to the acceptance stage of grief.
No, I just don't believe it's ever happening. And then when it happens, I can be happy about it. So you gotta let things go.
Yeah.
I just ran into a website where it has a sign in on mobile, so it's like, okay, I can sign in. Not that it's like sign in on mobile, like as an actual thing, but it's like, I'm like, oh, I can sign in here. So I signed in, expecting that I could then go to the account settings and I could make a change to something, which is all I wanted to do. And then it immediately signed me out and took me to a page that says, this site, like the product you're using, which is a web-based product, does not work on mobile. It only works on desktop. So we have signed you out so you can go use it on mobile. I'm like, or use on desktop. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to change my account settings slightly. I don't want to interact with the goddamn product.
It's like, also it was working.
It was working just fine. You logged me in. You gave me a login and you let me log in. And it was responsive design too, which is the thing that sucks, is like you made it all responsive. But even for mobile, and yet you're like, but it doesn't work on mobile. I'm like, I don't care. Just let me make a change.
So Astro's Playroom, because I know some people are like, doesn't that count as Astrobot 1? Actually,
Astrobot 0.
there's an Astrobot game before Astro's Playroom that was meant to show off the VR headset, which I'm annoyed by because I can't play it because I'm not buying a VR headset just to play it. And then Astro's Playroom is like on every PS5 automatically in. And then Astrobot, the one that you actually pay for.
And
I guess you pay for the VR one too.
And Astro's Playroom is like an interactive toy simulator type thing, which is very close to being a game, but not like...
Oh, no, it's like 5 hours of a platformer still.
Is it still?
It's Astrobot is more of the same, but with more cool things. It's like now we have some power-ups that are really interesting and some extra mechanics and stuff that are really interesting. But Astro's Playroom, like if you have a PS5 already, you're like, I don't know if I want to get a new one. You should just play that one first.
It has
will get you.
goals, and it has traversal to reach a goal, and it has that kind of...
Yeah, like they're both made with the same intent of like, we're going to show off Sony's history, and there's like a museum-esque thing that you collect stuff for. Yeah. But Astrobot's just like more of that, but better.
I know that we're not really, like Astrobot is not a topic this week for games, but I do think it's interesting that based on that, Astro is getting typecast as this is going to always be a celebration of Sony. Like it's meant to be like that they're casting it as this is a museum to Sony and Sony related works. As opposed to this is a franchise that stands on its own. And yet, I mean, it's a stronger offering than whenever they used to do like Crash Bandicoot or Little Big Planet or those kind of things where it's like, we want to make that our mascot. And it's like, actually, by just owning the fact that this is a Astra's all about Sony. It's all about Sony. And it's like, okay, now that you've actually done that, now it feels like this belongs here. But they might never get out of the thing of it has to always show off Sony somehow.
I think they could, though, because, like, again,
Are they
the
not
VR
a
one...
first-party studio?
I don't know.
I think they're owned by Sony.
Yeah.
Like, it would make sense that it is, but it's like if it's always about, it's always about nostalgia and showing off whatever. Because it's like you couldn't make the same case that Mario is all about showing off Nintendo, but like Mario Kart has lots of other Mario.
Is often made to show off Nintendo.
Well, I mean, like
Mario 64 was all about showing off the Nintendo 64.
Right, but there isn't always like a Mario game that is meant to show off the platform it's on.
No.
But like also it's also not a showcase of everything Nintendo. Mario Kart's maybe the closest thing to that, where it's like, oh, Animal Crossing is in that and Zelda is in that, like that kind of thing. Astrobot feels like it's meant to be a showcase of all things PlayStation, or of all games that came out on PlayStation, or like that's what we've got out of 3 games so far. Is just like we're showing off functionality, or we're showing off the company, or we're showing off the history, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Not to say that that's bad, but I hope it doesn't mean that they'll only bring out Astro titles if they are related to that solely.
Well, okay, so the VR and the Playroom one are I can't speak to the VR one, but I'm assuming it's the same. But the the Playroom one is definitely about showing off how, like, all the different things on the controller and such like that. But the other one doesn't have to do that.
Right.
So it's much more like the only thing really it's celebrating PlayStation, sure, but it's doing that by showing off a variety of titles from the past.
Yeah.
Although I don't really think Helldivers needs 4 robots.
Anyway, I didn't mean to drag us out of.
Why? We always do it, though.
Yeah.
We literally always do this. We always try to derail Paul. In fact, if we don't derail Paul before he says what the show's about, I always feel a little like I've failed.
This is the most...
I've already said what the show's about.
I know, I've already failed.
And this already feels like, even if this was a derail, it's the most related to what we talk about here on ChillPoint.
Yeah, it's actually talking about video games. It's hardly like...
It's a slightly related topic.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are related to video games,
video game adjacent.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the stuff that was in the episode. Catly. Graham went on this deep dive into the Catly to write this story that Beach delivered very well.
Thank you.
And weird game. I saw the trailer during the Game Awards.
Yep.
And I was like, cute cats.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What is this?
We were confused by
some sort
it.
of like whatever Nintendo cats kind of thing, like a
virtual pet.
Yeah, virtual pet raising your animal. Sure, why not? And then this whole sort of thing started coming out about all the AI-ness of it.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we were confused when we were watching it on the Game Awards because it just showed a bunch of cats walking around, and we were like, okay, but what?
Then the trailer is like there's like a bunch of cats wandering around, and then it shows like a cat there, and there's like a person, and then the person keeps like changing into different outfits. And so it's like, okay, so this is probably some sort of like mobile game or something.
Imagine fashion.
Yeah, but
those games can be.
But then this is one of these really weird, it's gone into this deep dive where because people were like, and
clearly an AI generated game.
People posted stuff on Blue Sky and Twitter and stuff.
Yeah,
and they're like, it's clearly some is like an AI generated thing. And then the developers went, no, it's not. It's not AI generated. No NFTs involved.
Yeah.
No crypto stuff involved. It's all modeled, all stuff. And then
humans involved.
And then Ben Brody.
Yeah, I said Brode, and I don't know if what's correct.
Anyway, he said that he'd seen 20 minutes of gameplay Although everyone was like, "So what is the gameplay?" And no, he didn't answer.
Oh yeah.
He might not be able to though. Like,
Yeah.
if they showed him gameplay with like intent of, I don't know, trying to sell him on a thing, or like there's supposed to be something written about it later.
I mean, he works for Marvel Snap, so it's kind of like you're basically just showing colleagues stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
anyway,
I wouldn't say like someone not being able to talk about gameplay is suspicious. Just
no.
that.
Well, it's
The rest
not.
of it
It's suspicious. It's not suspicious, but it's just that like, because nobody knew what the gameplay was, and he's like, "No, I saw the gameplay." What was it? What was it? What do you do in the game?
Yeah.
What kind of a game is it?
Because it says open world and the cozy and the crafty and that like kind
There's
of
lots
idea,
of like
right?
Lots
sort of buzzword stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like keywords that
And it's like that's not
show up
of
in
course
all games now.
and that means it's not an action shooter. Okay, because if it was like
Yeah.
Laser Cats, like that would actually be kind of rad. Like if they were just like we got together at the Lonely Island, we decided to actually make Laser Cats real, but yeah, the Catly like thing of cozy, crafty, open world, and it's like, but you mean like Skyrim open world? Like, are there cats
Yeah.
all over this weird planet? Is it No Man's Sky? Like what are we?
And they're like freaky alien cats, like they're
Yeah.
like pink and have weird things.
Yeah,
different
when you
colors.
showed some of the different pictures of the cats in the story, I was just like, I don't want any of these cats near me. They're a little
but-
too weird
I
looking.
wanted a few of them for the.
You want that
They're-
weird orange one?
I want the one with the big pink tufts coming out of its ears.
Yeah,
kind of.
that one's pretty.
Or
Good.
the big like jewel eyes.
The one that's like a Sphinx cat, but like black and orange. was
Oh,
a
with
little
the
weird.
yeah mohawk kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do that.
But anyway, so it went kind of back and forth and various, and it got to the point in the sort of the idea of that people got kind of into this, and the Reddit people started doing a deep dive on what was actually involved going on here, and
Yeah.
You can tell there's
Finding
not a
out-
lot going on in video games when people have that much time on their hands.
Yeah.
it's great, when it's also great when the company developing it is called Super Authentic.
Oh,
the name.
Jesus,
That's the
right,
name
yeah.
of the company,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, Super Authentic.
Authentic.
So and then they find out that the guy who founded it also founded 10th Planet, which does or did do a crypto an NFT game.
And was working on something called Alien Meow, which is then very closely related to the Catly idea.
Yeah, and then also there's
Shanghai
Shanghai
Binmao.
Binmao, which is a company that is wholly owned by Straight Authentic.
Yeah.
Made this game called Plantly. Didn't even change the font.
Nope.
Got one
Where
font,
you can
might as
where
well.
you can have it's
Pink
supposed to be-
flowers instead of pink cats.
What's the I love the line we Plantly has
Digital. Your
It's-
plants are digital tokens.
or it's like you can own the plants, but it's that it's like we're redefining
Chlorophyll.
no it's like we're redefining like relaxation in the digital
Synergistic
space.
digital plant space.
But it's just like we're redefining relaxation in the digital space or something like that, and it's like you're redefining relaxation, so like you're not doing
Actual relaxation.
like you're not doing relaxation that people know, like you're making up a new thing and calling that relaxation.
Yeah.
Like
See, this is why like PR write-ups of things like that are so fascinating, because they use buzzwords in the sense of like, oh, cozy game, chill game, whatever.
Yeah.
But they also use other words that are basically buzzwords like redefining and synergy.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool.
in the
Stop
needs
talking.
meeting plant relaxation space.
Can we redefine video games as just like
We already have. They're no longer they're no longer things you do for fun. They're things you do to get mad at.
and so
What games
yeah,
have you
and I
been
mean
playing?
maybe and as Bish said and Graham wrote the it's true, and what I love that I also the other statement I love from them is them being like because there's the statement that we only highlighted a little part of it,
Yeah.
but they go Catley
It's like our company does not own any.
They say we do not use generative AI to produce the video and the game, and we are very surprised by that speculation. And if you look at the shoulder graphic, the quote goes on to say it's like, and we're very surprised at that speculation. To our knowledge, there's no there isn't any video AI generation thing that could do anything like what's in this video.
Yes.
Which is that like
To our knowledge.
yeah, or something. It was something to that effect, and it's sort of that like, dude.
What do you think we were using?
Yeah, it's like we tried. Oh, we tried.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
no, I have never
but
done.
if you guys, yeah, it's like if you guys know about an AI video generation thing that could do the cat video,
That would save us so
please
much
tell
money.
us.
Yeah.
I don't know where to get drugs in town, but if you could tell me where I should avoid getting drugs in town,
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah,
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you could tell us an AI video generation program that could do something like in the cat thing, and just tell us what it is so that we know to avoid that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
be
would
good.
we
Yeah.
would be very surprised again. I think this is what the thing I loved the most about this story was the Redditor detective work, because that's always like real dangerous. Like,
Well, especially when it gets into like they found like the actual like business filing,
yeah.
and they found the resume of somebody who had worked for
Yeah.
on the meta game
And
called
when they
Catly.
when they had worked on it, and it's like there was a game called Catly in here already, and I'm like Graham did a great job of like laying these things out, very short, simple ideas that just kind of ran from one to the other, that made it very easy to make a case.
And I think the conclusion that came to in the story, which was like, it appears to have been like the trailer video and everything seems to have been handmade, but possibly like using AI generated images as
Their starting point.
as like their art direction, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the thing, right? When it comes to AI, we've got, we have people who say all AI bad. And I mean, they're generally talking about the generative AI,
Right.
like stuff. Then you have some people, even creatives, who are in this idea of, but I could use it for brainstorming. I can
As
use
a
it
tool
for this.
for
I
this
can use it
thing,
as a
yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
I can use it as a starting point, as long as I don't do whatever. And then you have the people who are like, no, all in, because I don't care about anything. And so it's not surprising to me to see to see some companies be like, well, we didn't make the thing with AI, but we maybe started brainstorming with that, or we found some images that were other people made that we were like, oh, people like this, and we'll use that.
Can I zoom out a bit?
Sure.
How the hell did this end up on what I'm assuming we kind of consider the Super Bowl of game advertising? Like, how did this
Money.
get it? It had to have been money.
Well, yeah, you have to. I'm pretty sure you have to pay to be in there, don't you?
Right. Well, if you want to be in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's even a secret. Like it's either be in the lineup,
Right.
or pay a bunch of money, or be a friend of Jeff Keighley.
Here's
Those are the
my
two
Maybe
ways that you
both.
get in.
Here's what I'm wondering. Super Authentic was co-founded by Kevin Yuang. Kevin Yuang also co-founded 10th Planet as an NFT, whatever. Shanghai Binmao Technology is the third company involved in this, but they're owned solely by Super Authentic. Where's the money coming from to pay for this ad to get it onto the Game Awards? And was the intention, like maybe this starts to get into, this is like really bringing out the corkboard in the yarn. It's like, but who funded that ad? Was it cheap enough that they're like, well, or was it actually like, no, this is a good value. Get this out in front of everybody because they'll see it. That'll build hype. That'll build
like
investment on the back end.
Yeah,
And
because I
then
mean
we'll
the
have to
game
produce
isn't
it.
like, even aside from all the sort of speculative AI stuff, or that people have been figuring out, the game was never going to be coming out like soon. Like it's not even in early access or anything.
So why did they show? Because it's like we could come up with a trailer for a fake game, and then we could get that video made, and we could buy time. We'd have to have the money. Holy shit, because that's the thing. But we could buy the time to put a thing up for that and be like, here's a completely fake game that's never going to come out, and then put it up on the put it up on the Game Awards, pay the money to get it up there. Let's pretend we have the kind of cash to do that, and then see what happens, right? Because what if what happens is a lot of people are like, oh, that game looks rad, I totally want to play it, and 100,000 people are just like positive. And then it's like, well, who's making this game? And it turns out no one's making this game, but everyone wants to play it. So now someone is going to make this game.
And I mean, I don't think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance that the game won't come out. But like, I don't think that's it being possibly
like a fishing expedition. I don't know.
But it having like AI generated stuff or possibly be NFT related and stuff doesn't mean it won't come out.
Right.
I mean, it won't be a fun game to play, probably, but like lots of shovelware crap like that comes out.
Yes.
Like I don't know if this was actually like we were never intending to make a game. This was all just a scam. I think it's more just they're just trying to build up some hype for it, get some investment. But I think they are or were at least intending on making it.
Right. So that brings me back to the same question of where's the money coming from to get that into the Game Awards?
I mean, I don't know.
It's not like it's $1 million to get your thing into the Game Awards.
Is it?
I have no idea.
For an ad like that's that short that's just kind of played in the middle of a thing and you're not having people come up on stage and talk about their game in more depth, it's probably not like $1 million.
I mean, interested now to ask the Game Awards what their advertising rates are.
There has to be some sort of budgetary things because there are indie games that get their stuff up there. True. And it's not like they have that much money to spend just on that.
Right, but their publishers could be putting that up for them.
A lot of their publishers aren't that big.
But like, if you know people and stuff, then getting investment for something, that kind of stuff happens all the time,
And if somebody believes in your game, they might be like, well, okay, we're willing to see this. Like, this game's going to come out on the PlayStation or come out on the Switch or whatever. And the indie backing groups that are part of the larger companies might be like, we want to promote that.
Yeah,
people throw away millions of dollars on stupid video games that never actually get made all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's, I don't know, I just feel like your whole point of like, we could put up a thing where we don't intend to do anything with it. I'm like, well, yes, but I don't think like any kind of, even the Super Bowl, I don't think looks at the people who are paying for their advertising and going, are your products real?
No, of course you wouldn't.
That's not their...
At that level, you would
you're
never
allowed
have
to just
that.
do whatever.
Yeah. But so according to what the Maricat and what Kadeki apparently also found too, that a cost of an ad can be anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000. So that's substantial, but it's not impossible. You could get that money from somewhere, I guess, to make that happen.
The thing that I find particularly funny about this, and something I think Corvus mentioned that the idea that there is evidence this could have been like an NFT thing that was in development, and then the NFT market kind of collapsed, and so it's being sort of repackaged. Mm-hmm. But that aspect of like the idea that you would be hiding AI involvement in a game, is understandable. And, obviously there's a lot of tension back and forth about that. So it's understandable that you would want to hide it. But the idea that I love this idea or this idea that it could be like sort of secretly an NFT game.
Yeah.
Which I find fascinating because that literally defeats the entire purpose of NFTs, even the stupid aspect of how they work, because like the whole point of an NFT is that they are nothing except for the hype that they have around them. So if you're doing them in secret, there's then no hype around them.
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
Like that's like the whole point.
Yeah, we've
like
actually seen...
they are nothing. They are just hype, and there's no hype.
Like we've actually seen games that use NFT and crypto like earlier when it was not like being completely bashed immediately as terms as if their game might have those things when their games never had those things, right? Because those were the new buzzwords to say about your games. I mean, to try to get people interested.
Yeah, and so if nothing else, I mean, a positive thing to take away from the Catley thing is that the term NFT in association with games, we're at the point now where that has become so toxic that they're having to sort of vehemently deny it.
Yeah.
And being like, not only denying that this game has it, but saying that like they don't have any games.
Yeah, and that the
Like,
company doesn't have any blockchain currency
so
and does not have
I mean,
any,
I think that's a pretty positive development
overall, yeah.
overall. I haven't had to use my like various like
Yeah.
Checkpoint NFT update, and
NFTs and
various
crypto's
graphics for
fallen out of fashion.
NFT stories. lately.
AI is like in this weird space where it's, I mean, part of it's because the term is so mangled, where it's kind of this in between, and it's, to me, it's not video. Like video games are fighting it hard, other art places are fighting it hard, but we're seeing it pop up more on like our phones and our email and YouTube, and like again these spaces that are trying to be like, no, use it for brainstorming, use it to reorganize your thoughts into poems and like really stupid things. It's more where that push feels like it's coming from now than we used AI to make our game, because there's still a lot of pushback over there.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't AI. I mean, obviously there is a lot of misplaced sort of buzzword hype around AI stuff, but fundamentally AI and I mean specifically sort of generative AI stuff does have a lot more sort of substance to it than NFT things. You can actually do stuff with AI. Whether that's a good thing or not is the debate, but you can do stuff.
Yeah. I feel like
There is something there, and it does actually
Yeah.
produce content. Whether that's good content, who knows?
we also, the understanding currently is that, hey, were you a big NFT bro during the boom? You pivoted your job to AI real fast.
Right.
Because when the tulips were wilting, you were like, oh shit, I got to find another grift. And so you moved on to, because regardless of whether you're an AI technologist who's like in the midst of developing machine learning and large language models and those kind of things for like just the benefit of research and just the benefit of what can this do for humanity or to humanity, there's also 1,000 people who are like, if I just put the word AI in shit and then use these
Right.
things, I can make stuff happen, right? There's
Like
always
I-
the grift.
Like I think the people who pivoted from grifting with NFTs to grifting with AI didn't actually understand either.
No.
Like they don't understand, and they didn't really understand NFTs, and they don't understand AI
Yeah.
other than enough to sort of get the buzzwords and know
and
the thing.
and just pump for money and get the hell out. And so the reason why when you point to a thing saying, oh, this guy who co-founded this company who also co-founded this other company was working on an NFT game, like the reason why that should send bells up, especially when the spokesperson's now saying, we don't have any AI generated video and we don't have any blockchain currency and technology and all whatever. I'm like, right, because seeing the writing on the wall and pivoting to this other thing, it doesn't ring true. It feels like I'm being lied to still, that it's like the spokesperson saying, no, we don't have that, and being very specific about it too. It's like, right, if you couldn't come out at this point and say that you have any of these things because you know how badly it's gone. So if you've already pivoted to the new thing, you're doing your damnedest to be like, I have to get this grift to take off first, and it hasn't done it yet. Because an NFT game, like an NFT game just still feels like that was just always intended to be a grift in the first place. And so if you're designing Catly to be like whatever the hell it's going to be, you definitely don't want to get tar with the brush that caused your old thing to fail. You want the new thing to work. So you probably just get out there and just say these things don't apply to that. Because why wouldn't you do that just to try to get the damn thing off the ground if you were just interested in doing a grift in the first place? So I'm ascribing a lot of really like evil and negative aspects to what might be going on here. But we don't know. That's just me speculating, and I don't think it's as like it's like that might not even be true.
I mean, I guess that is the biggest thing between crypto, NFTs, and AI, right? Is that crypto was meant to be a way to not have to do stuff with banks.
Yes.
Right? And NFTs was like, here's a way to make money by
It's
buying and
democratizing
selling
the
things.
yeah, democratizing the art world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
when people get in on is just them trying to basically play a different form of stocks.
Yes.
Whereas generative AI is more of a tool to do things, and a lot more people have access to it without necessarily investing money into it.
Yeah. And if you don't understand any of the technologies right off the bat, if somebody can get in there and slickly talk to you about it, then you don't have to worry about not understanding because this nice person is explaining it to me. Anyway. Yeah.
Trust no one.
Let's move on to
Oh, there were
another
other
thing that
stories?
another person that you maybe shouldn't trust. Epic.
Oh, I mean,
who-
sure, yeah.
Who and the FCC or FTC, I should say.
Right.
And because Epic lost that lawsuit or lost this class action lawsuit a while ago now, back in 2022, which I believe we reported on, fined $520 million.
So many dollars.
But these things, take a while to kind of
Shake out?
work their way through the system. But in any case, they are now sending out $114 to 600,000 people. And you have a chance if you've been wronged, if you're 18 years or older and have been charged for items you didn't want between January 2017 and September 2022, or if you had your account locked during that time, you could be eligible.
So let me get it straight. For items that I didn't purchase,
It's items you were charged for items you didn't purchase, or you were tricked into purchasing, I think is the other part.
okay.
Yeah, it's probably the more-
Because that sounds like
And-
then... Because
'cause
most of these games have like people have like a credit card attached to their account, right? So that they can easily buy things.
Part of it is part of this was that the credit cards attached to accounts were too persistent, I guess you would call it, and so like somebody could buy somebody would like buy a thing, and then like their kid could like buy a whole bunch more stuff
Okay.
Yeah.
without having to re-authenticate on the credit
Or
card.
And
maybe
because-
we had like a UI where it's constantly asking you and you accidentally say yes.
And like that, and then, yeah, this was also, I think we talked about this, where there's like the thing where it's like, do you want to buy this thing? And then the only buttons basically are like yes, and then the cancel button is like way down here in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Is just
Yeah,
not cool.
I feel like we did a story about that like
Dark
a year ago or
UI.
something.
Yes, dark patterns. So anyway, check that out, and if you think you might be in that area, because hey, oh, money. And also the other aspect, Nelson wrote this story, and the other aspect of it, which I also found rather amusing,
Yeah.
is that
The FTC.
that the FTC has a blog. So it's like they put out there's like the page that you can go to, which by the way is like ftc.gov/Fortnite, which is kind of, it's funny that that's a real website. But the other thing is that, so there's that thing. So they put out the thing being like, here's what you do in order to get your refund, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then they also put out a blog post where it's like, FTC gets a refund for all these people.
Yeah.
It's like a...
Yeah, really
talking
kind
about-
of hyped up kind of a plain language way of explaining what happened. Because obviously the FTC is going to have like a thing of being like, here's the legal aspect and it's going to be dry. So you write a blog to be like, here's a way you can understand what happened. And it has comments enabled.
Yeah.
And
so
if you
then-
thought
and
the YouTube comments are weird,
Our YouTube comments are generally pretty okay.
Generally.
yeah, for one thing, and I do, it's nice that this is not just a problem for, content creators or for us or for content creators or whatever, that this is always a problem. So they did this blog post about FGC helps Fortnite players score a victory royale against Epic Games.
Yep.
Nice. And then there's the whole thing. And then in the comments, there's like people being like, so give me my money back. I'm broke. Or I lost, period. My V-Bucks. Or just like, please give me my money back.
I got this too, but how to refund
I need my
it?
money back. I get, and it's like, you don't, did it say in the thing, put your name in the comments below and we'll give you your money back?
They're doing like Mr. Beast style giveaways in the YouTube comments, Also, by the way, if anybody from Loading Ready Run ever says, oh, you win a thing in the comment, don't respond to them. You guys know better than that, most of you, I think. So.
I mean, for one thing, occasionally we have had the bots that try to convince people that they've won something. For the most part, it's been on videos where we haven't actually done a giveaway, which I think is pretty funny.
How I rebate for fish.
A lot of these are like for refunds, which I don't know if that was actually what this was supposed to be for.
Is there anyone who's like complained about Fortnite and like a thing that they need to fix? Because I find there's always somebody who seems to get confused that the thing that they're commenting on is not done by a group who can do anything about whatever it is they're complaining about.
I would like to refund my son's skin. And like, Jesus Christ.
What?
If you're mad at your kid, just tell him he can't play Fortnite. Don't refund his whole skin.
Anytime I complain about the fact that we call them skins and that it's creepy, you all are like,
well, then they say
that's pretty normal. Now you're freaking out?
They say I accidentally bought the skin.
Yeah, right? I bought your son's skin.
I didn't intend my son to have skin, but now...
Now my son has 2 skins and your son has no skin.
You should get extra skin.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
It is, Christ, just, yeah.
So if you are eligible for this, I mean, the comments are now on this article are now closed, which is probably to stop this.
Yeah.
So yes, but if you think you may be eligible for this, please go to the website and do that. Do not just comment on a random FTC blog post asking about your stuff.
It's like, I feel like sometimes that having comments like this where they're very easy to just kind of get in and do something. It's like everyone always says, well, that's what you want is for people to be able to come in and just write in their name and then write in the comment and then have be able to begin the discourse and people talking to each other anonymously or pseudonymously or that kind of thing. It's like, right, you want that, and then you go to like ftc.gov and you read comments that are attached to things and you're like, oh no, there's no conversation happening here. There's just a bunch of weird people.
Yeah, that's every comment section.
And that's the thing is, I'm like, our forums are full of weird people, but in like affectionate, right?
All right.
Our discords are full of weird people, affectionate.
Paige, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you expect out of a comment section? No, wait, sorry, let me rephrase that. What is it you would actually want out of a comment section if you had one?
If I had a comment...
Let's assume you have a blog.
Right.
What are you hoping for out of a comment section?
What I hope for is people to hear what I'm saying and say, oh, that's very well reasoned. I have some additional information, or that is well reasoned. However... Right. You are good and handsome, but also have you considered this alternate take on your story?
You're looking for like discussion.
And ego stroking.
Well, yes, okay, sure. Okay. But discussion.
But discussion of the thing that I've just
someone
posted.
Saying whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me tell you how comment sections currently work and why they work that way. People just say things like engaging the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because...
Partly because we just say you should do something.
It's all about, well, yeah, but it's all about the comment section, especially on like YouTube, isn't about people engaging with each other, even though they want that to kind of be the base.
Build community.
The thing is about engagement drive and all of that BS, which means we have people who are like, I'm just commenting on the video, I'm leaving an emoji. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they're trying to help.
Yes.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Really do. But again,
but
we've molded the algorithm, the idea of how the algorithm works and how we need these things to work has molded comment sections to being
not content,
not
but
actual
yeah.
discussion or.
Yeah.
I do like it
anything.
when in like sometimes in the YouTube comments somebody will post something and then it will sort of start a little thread of discussion.
That's
about
cool.
that thing. That's
Love
always
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can happen. It's just there are a lot of times where you watch a video, you're like, I don't have anything to say,
Yeah.
but I like these people, so I'm going to write a thing that I think might help with the thing because we're like, well, the algorithm probably works that way and we think it might.
Yeah.
And it probably does in a sense.
But like comment writing, bracket or parentheses, affectionate is what we get out of YouTube. I don't think the people who are posting on ftc.gov on the Fortnite thing are like, I like the people at the FTC. I'm going to leave a comment. How I refund for fish. Like, it's like,
I mean,
that's...
I would also just say I'm surprised they have a comment section open because for the blog that they're running is probably meant to be more informative than it is meant to be a place of
a discussion point, yeah.
Well, and it's clearly like it's not like anybody from the FTC has like responded to any of these people being
Yeah.
like, hey, you should go here if you want to get the
Yeah.
refund.
And I feel like
it's not like they're paying attention to it either.
It might be like there might have been an idea of like, well, we should have a comment section. Why? It's like, well, because it's a public forum for USians to go in there and start writing to actually be like, I've read your thing. I have a couple questions. Can you please clarify? Like that
I'm
kind
willing
of like
to bet any blogging thing has just comments on by default.
potentially, yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Anyway,
The other thing that there's the something that our the Steptoe, who was for a long time the Xbox head of Xbox policy and enforcement, and a friend of the show, I'd say. And he had a great bit where he talked about that because when you he's saying that the longer the explanation somebody gives you when you ban them, like the longer the explanation they give you to try to get unbanned,
right.
the more chance that it's like bullshit. It's the more chance that they're and as it gets longer and longer and longer, it's saying the chance that this is some, and so
I don't know. The idea that somebody over explains is also a problem where they found that people won't listen to them, so they keep trying to explain to people will hear them out.
It's true.
So I don't know if I totally... I agree that the more somebody tries to get out of something, that seems likely, but also it just could be a person who is literally having anxiety over the fact that they got banned.
I feel like this is something he has found, or sort of experimentally has indicated that's actually how the situation has happened. But of course, just because it is a long explanation doesn't mean that it's wrong.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it might not be 100% right.
The chances of it being bullshit go up, shall we say?
We're going to take some real-time feedback from the chat. They do not like my use of USians.
No.
I'm going to change that. I think you're right. Maybe I should not be saying that. I should be saying USatrons. Much better.
What are so it's
because if I don't, it's USanoids, and I don't think that works as well either.
United Statesians.
What are the Transformer names? The
Autobots and Decepticons.
Yeah.
If I say Usabots, it doesn't quite work, and Usacons is also kind of weird too. So Usatron, I think, is probably fine.
What's Tron from?
Disney movie about 1980s.
What, the one with the bikes?
Yeah, the one with the bikes, yeah. And the discs.
Trons?
The discs of Trons and the bikes of Trons.
I never watched those.
Disney movie from the 1980s with the bikes.
Yeah.
So, like, E.T.?
E.T.? I mean, that's not Disney, but it's Disney adjacent, so.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something wholesome.
What?
Jeff!
Oh,
Jeff! Yeah.
Jeff!
We make fun of Jeff Keighley so much, but we finally had a good story about Jeff.
Different Jeff.
Different Jeff.
Different Jeff.
I mean, okay. So
wait,
no. Because I know so little about this Jeff, other than the land shark thing and the really cute photo that shows up at the end.
And that's what the story is about.
And I think
About not knowing about what.
I think if we replace Jeff Keighley with this Jeff
the land
for
shark.
the Game Awards,
Yeah.
Or just have
huge improvement.
Jeff Keighley like wearing a big mascot costume.
No,
Comes out as left shark.
I'm just saying, let's get Deadpool out on the
Oh,
stage
yeah.
and have him run the Game Awards.
That'd be fun. Jesus Christ. If Ryan Reynolds came out as
Yes.
Deadpool and just hosted the Game Awards completely straight, I am Deadpool, and that's
Yes.
what I'm going to be the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds, you can do whatever you want. Like,
Yes.
I'm completely down
Yep.
with this, yeah.
Yep, he
By
can
all
pull
means.
it off.
We can
And
improve
Jeff
it
would be
a
fine
lot.
with that because they're both Canadians.
Yeah.
He'd be like, my Canadian friend Deadpool. It's like, yes, why not?
But yeah, this is. I mean, the sort of central piece of this story is that Marvel Rivals is doing a winter event called the Winter Splash Festival.
Jeff's Winter Splash Festival.
Jeff's Winter Splash Festival, where you can spray paint or something around. It kind of looks like he's kind of projectile vomiting.
He
stuff
really
everywhere.
is, yeah. He's supposed to be blowing ice and snow, I think, but
Yeah. Anyway, and color things, and then you win based on the percentage of the path that is covered in the different colors.
Great, very Splatoon.
Very Splatoon. Now, in the trailer, they do actually show other characters too, which is kind of cool.
What? It's not all just Jeff?
It's not.
But it's his Winter Splash Fest.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
he's a nice land shark. He lets other people
yeah.
have
Don't
fun
give
as
me
well.
this BS.
And they also
that
vomit
we should
ice
all
and snow all
share.
over
I'm just in the trailer. There's like a Winter Wonderland like Venom that like is like shooting stuff everywhere.
Okay, I really should look at this trailer because it sounds funny.
Blah!
Anyway,
Tongue gets stuck on icicles.
Apparently, from people in the comments, Jeff, everybody's favorite character in the comics. Apparently, in Marvel Rivals, he is miserable to play against. Everyone
yeah.
hates him.
He has the hide and seek ability, which I guess means he can dig into the ground. He can swim through the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've played card games with things like that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he is not he is not a popular character to play against, which
Yeah.
presumably means
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who like playing him.
I feel like our friend Anna, who is very much into comic books, she did try to convince me one time, I think it was her that tried to be like, maybe you would like the West Coast Avengers, she said to me. And because I was like, I thought the whole point, because my understanding of like different team ups and whatever else in the thing, it's like, it's so impossible to understand what's going on. And it's like, yeah, but you seem like the kind of person who would like West Coast Avengers. I swear we had that conversation one time. And now that I'm learning more about it, I'm like, I am the kind of person who would like, I like the joke character thing. Why wouldn't, like, I think my favorite superhero in the Marvel universe is Squirrel Girl. Just from hearing the stories.
Squirrel Girl sounds pretty cool.
Just from hearing the stories.
I've seen her show up in. Oh, they did like a little WB cartoon with her and I feel like a couple other girls.
Ms. Marvel was in this thing. It was like a big team up that
Yeah,
it's all
it felt
linked
like
to Disney
a very
Plus.
like girl squad thing, and it was very cute.
Yeah.
I feel like Squirrel Girl works best as sort of like a guest character or like almost like a myth,
Yeah.
as opposed to like
Having constant adventures.
Like I don't know whether she's got her own comic series or whatever, but
I think she's had limited series, but
She's had a few.
yeah, but I feel like she works best just as sort of this sort of fun weird thing where she's secretly the most powerful character.
it's very much like because that's when you start giving like I was reading about Jeff and discovering things about Jeff. I discovered Gwenpool. And I didn't know what that was all about. And then as I was reading, I'm like, oh, I like Gwenpool now too. This is fantastic. Because that's also, she's from our world and she has reality bending powers. And I'm like, you cannot,
Deadpool,
you can't have her be in every comic because she would just fix stuff and you'd have to have reasons for her not to fix stuff. Because you do that with Superman. You have to have reasons for Superman not to be able to do stuff. So, yeah.
Somebody in the comments the most wholesome thing, because apparently, like, Jeff was Gwenpool's like pet.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
And at the end of like her comic series, she gave Jeff to Deadpool
Ah.
because she was like, I don't know what's going to happen with my comic series.
Right.
But you're really popular. So you're always going to get a comic series. So you, Jeff, stick with Deadpool.
That's good. That's really, really good. Yeah.
That's really cute.
But yeah, I just was like, oh yeah, the other thing too, I don't think I wanted to let people know about this. Because as I was writing the story, because I realized, who the hell is Jeff? Like really, I was like, why did they use the word Jeff? What does it have to do with anything? Because I don't know who Jeff the Landshark is. And then about 20 minutes into me like reading the story and kind of thinking about the way I want to go with it, because sometimes you just read the story and then sit for 20 minutes kind of just watching random videos on YouTube and just like letting it percolate until I have an idea. Because what's my in? And sometimes the stories suck as a result. My apologies. But in a case like this, I was like, I don't know who this is. And as I was going and going and going, and then eventually I was like, oh wait, it's that goddamn shark. That's who Jeff... Oh, I've ruined my story. Okay, pretend you know nothing about this. Go back and write the story the way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to come up with more Jeffs. And I went to Marvel's page and typed in the word Jeff because I'm like, you know what would be funny is I should name the character... Like, I'm going to do like Jeff Panther and Captain Jeffica. Who else could I do? I'm like... Spider Jeff? No. Oh, Jeff Morales instead of Miles Morales. That'll be really funny. I'm like, oh, that doesn't really work. I'll call him... Jeff Morales can be Miles Morales' dad. That seems more realistic, that would be a thing that would happen, right? So we'll do that. And I'm like, I don't like that either because it feels like people won't get the joke because they won't understand, well, why is he calling Miles Morales' dad Jeff Morales? It seems so freaking weird. So I went and I searched. 4 Jeffs come up on Marvel's website. There was 8-Ball, Highwayman, Jeff the Landshark, and Jefferson Davis. There's only 4 Jeffs. And I'm like, who's Jefferson Davis? Jefferson Davis is Miles Morales' dad. I'm like, oh, perfect. That would be really funny if I call him Jeff Morales. It wouldn't make any sense. And as I scroll down reading more about Jefferson Davis, Jefferson Davis realized his name was mud in the universe he was in, so he changed his name to Jeff Morales.
Yeah, so Beach accidentally out-joked himself.
Somebody in the comments went through that same process.
Yeah,
Somebody in the comments, they were like, I was annoyed that he called
Miles Morales' dad.
He called Miles Morales' dad Jeff Morales, and then I went and looked it up and realized that he actually had taken I think it's his wife's name.
Yeah. Yeah, because Beach and I were talking about the story before, and Beach was like, "Oh, Jeff." The shark, and I'm like, I don't know. The only shark I know is in Harley Quinn. That's not the same shark, is it?
Not even the same universe.
I don't know. What?
Jeffrey
Comics are comics.
Shark,
I don't really care who owns what.
Anyway.
Well, I do. I don't want them all to own everything, but like...
Oh, God, if they
I'm
merged, we'd have a
keeping
new Crisis on New 52. Like, let's not let them ever merge. Yeah.
I mean, they've had crossovers.
Can we just
it's true. Yeah.
stick away from multiverse stuff
But if they
for a
merged
while?
for real.
Lower Decks did fine with multiverse, but I don't really need more multiverse stuff for
I'm
a
going to
while.
miss that show. I hope they do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from Jeff and go to Balatro.
Yes.
Which now this we actually, I think we sort of touched on this story a little while ago, because it was still under consideration, this ruling from the PEGI, the European video game standard thing. I don't know what PEGI necessarily stands for. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will tell me.
Pan-European game
Interests.
industry.
Oh, industry's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, industry's probably in there.
And
Pangea
Pan-European game
exits
information.
It's close.
game.
You're close.
No, Pangea exits game industry.
They broke up.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this idea that the game is being marked 18A or 18 plus, I should say, because it looks like a gambling game. So
Yes.
it looks like poker, even though there's no actual gambling in it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do any betting.
Right. You don't win any money. You
You don't win any money, and also it's like, even if they're like, even within the context of the game, not as a real money thing.
Yeah.
There's no like betting money
Right.
as a mechanic in the game.
Yeah. It's literally just a game device that uses playing cards. It could have used round discs.
It's
Well,
funny
I mean, you
'cause
do, but like you do use like the poker hands are scored,
Sure.
yeah.
but that's it.
The
Yeah.
what is it? The reasoning that they gave off was like imagery or something.
Yeah, prominent gambling imagery.
Prominent gambling imagery, which is really funny because that sounds a lot like you have playing cards in your game.
Yeah,
And for me, when I was growing up, we went to church, and playing cards were not evil, but there were some very elderly members in the church that we were not allowed to let them see if we had playing cards around, because there was a time when playing cards were very evil.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow.
all that could make me remind me of was like, whoa, did we go back in time?
I do have
Cards
one
are
of-
evil again?
when I was
Yeah.
when I was a kid, all the old people I knew were like super into card games. playing like bridge,
Oh, and
They were, like,
canasta?
super evil.
canasta, and
Yeah.
cribbage and all that stuff.
I have one of these adults only games, in fact, on my phone. I don't know if you'll be able to recognize it or not, but there it is. It is filled with gambling imagery such as playing cards.
Isn't that solitaire?
That is solitaire. Netflix
So-
puts that out. I had no idea that they were into such awful pornography.
So yeah, the idea is that by I think
gambling and porn aren't the same thing,
The
right?
extension is that by putting the actual poker hands,
Mm-hmm.
then the kids will like know what the poker hands are,
Mm.
so that in the future, if they do try to gamble, if they do try to play poker, they'll know what the hands are. I guess
I feel like, though, that
they're going to get a rough surprise if they try to play poker and play their jokers
but also, right,
to get more points.
I feel like any kid that takes up Balatro, they will not have any time or interest in playing poker. They will be too busy always playing Balatro. So we've solved the problem of children
Well-
learning how to gamble because Balatro will just eat all their time.
I mean, if we go back to the case of, oh no, our kids know things and then therefore they will gamble. I don't know, restricting information I don't think has really worked in the past
It's
or
been
is working
awful.
now, and everyone
Terrible
keeps
idea.
trying that tactic, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like around here, there's a big thing with you're not allowed to, kids aren't allowed to see, not only, kids not buy cigarettes or
Yeah.
smoking paraphernalia, but they can't see it.
They can't see it.
Yeah.
So it
if
has to
we-
be like kept, not only does it have to be kept like behind the counter and like covered,
Yeah.
but there's a couple places, there's like cigar shops in town, and they can't have any cigars
On display.
on display.
Yeah.
Like in the window or something.
And if we take away all of the books that let people know that anyone who is queer exists, somehow our kids won't know.
all the queer people will
Sure.
disappear, which is kind of,
You're not allowed to
in a
put
way.
Yeah, that one's
you're
a
not,
little
you're not
more
allowed to
true.
put queer people in the
Cigarette
in the
shops.
windows of cigar shops
Shops,
either.
yeah.
No.
It's such a dumb.
I know there's a thing about it's always about protecting children. I mean, that's the whole point of Peggy, right? Our one that we have over here, which I forget the name of.
Yes. ESRB.
ESRB, yeah. The idea is like trying to provide information to people who are buying something so that they know if they're buying it for a minor that it's like, well, is this appropriate for my child? Because, hey, maybe my kid loves horror movies. They're 4 years old and they love horror movies for some reason. So they'd be fine with this imagery because they're okay with that. And it's like, yeah, I don't mind if my kid plays the zombie game because for whatever reason they're super into zombies. Fine, whatever. You're making that decision for your kid at that point, or you're
Right.
deciding if what you want because you're like, I don't like horror games at all, and I'm like letting me know ahead of time what's in this game is a very good idea. But yeah, it really does end up coming down to but the children, and I'm like, right. So I get the idea of you want to portion out things that, like as a child is learning stuff as they're growing up. It's like you don't want to hit them with the entire world all at once because that would be devastating. All the crap that goes on in the world and how terrible things can be for people. You want to kind of let them learn stuff on their own and hopefully inculcate the values that your society has towards something, as opposed to just being very prescriptive and being like, it has to be my way or no other way, right? That kind of thing. So I get why Balatro, like with Peggy being like, we want to go on the hard side of things and be like, but it's gambling imagery. I'm like, I think you overcorrected. Like, I think you went way too far. Because it said that doesn't tell you anything about the game. It just says there's gambling imagery, and it's like that doesn't tell you what the game is about.
But let's say,
intention.
let's take this off of just Balatro.
Sure.
Right? Because the overall point is, if every video game that had gambling imagery in it was rated 18 plus, then at least we would be like, yes, we are on the same moral standing.
Yeah.
So I mean, this and this is what he talked about in the thing, is that so games that don't have the imagery of, say, poker, but actually have gambling in them.
Yeah.
Like EA Sports FC or these other games that have loot boxes and stuff in them.
Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah. Are not, they're rated whatever 3+. It's like the imagery is the thing that they're concerned about.
Yeah.
And and it's that, I think it is that thing, like, there's probably some aspect of like a parent not paying attention, walks in, sees their kid playing a game on their iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
That looks like poker. Why did you let my kid
play poker?
Buy this?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And there's that.
Anyway.
And there's
Your
also
3-year-old has access to a credit card?
Apparently.
Or they have Apple Arcade.
They have their own credit
Apple
card.
Arcade, though, is like a boxed-in garden thing.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
Balatra's in it. So it's like if you subscribe to Apple Arcade and you're like, why did you let my kid play this? It's like, it's literally part of Apple Arcade. They can download it on their iPad and get it for free. Like, you're already paying for Apple Arcade. And who are you mad at? Are you mad at Apple? Are you mad at Balatro? Or mad at Peggy for not putting a parental restriction? Or
So, I mean,
oh my God, it's so complicated all of a sudden. Oh my God.
Are you experiencing the world all at once? Because it's a lot.
Oh,
it's this idea of the imagery is more important than the actual mechanical thing, which seems backwards.
Yeah.
But it really seems like our fucking society, doesn't it? How you look is more important than your actual substance.
Well, I mean, again, I don't think I'm against the idea of, hey, we'll knock certain things for having specific imagery.
Yeah.
But I do think the mechanics definitely need to be in there too.
I would love for there to be a thing.
Because we get when ratings show up on like whatever thing you're streaming on in the corner, it often says it'll be like, oh, well, this is labeled 13 plus because it's got smoking and whatever. Yeah. And it does it per episode most of the time. And so
it's when you can be like, oh, I'm in for a good time. This has got whatever
hard to breathe moments in
energy.
It, yes.
It's got whatever
nicotine addiction,
exciting action.
Yes,
whatever. Or my favorite
distressing action.
I've literally seen on Netflix contains themes.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that come up one time too.
I guess even telling you what the themes are would be too affecting.
I've also seen Netflix choose to describe shows in various ways that are kind of just weird.
It would be lovely to have some pressure put upon the rating boards groups, which I know are industry groups. So I don't know how you would even get this kind of pressure, but to put the pressure on them to say, hey, when you rate a game and that game comes out, you should have to go back and look at it a year later.
Here, I have this example still.
That when the microtransactions are out for it a year later, then you have to say, no, this is now 18 plus.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Remember the description I gave you for Beastars?
Yes, right.
In this meditative fantasy anime, a teenage wolf struggles with his predatory instincts and growing feelings for a rabbit.
Is that not an accurate description of
Well,
Beastars?
the teenage wolf and the growing feelings for rabbit is a thing that's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would call it meditative.
No, I would. It's definitely not.
Given that there's like murders and a bunch of other stuff that's super scary.
It starts with
really creepy.
It starts with high school students finding out that one of their classmates has been murdered in their school. You don't see the murder happen in the first episode, I believe. I don't remember. But you find out that everyone's reacting, because that's how the first chapter opens. So remembering the manga more than anything else. But it's like, you're getting that. And I'm like, the kind of coming of age story and the thing about Beastars is it's predators and prey all live in the same world, and they have to try to adapt. It's all animals of all different sizes, and they adapt and stuff. And it's really built on and on and on. Like the world building gets really like almost top heavy. It's a fun read, but it is also violent a lot of times, and it's also, a lot of the violence is also built out of the coming of age of people too. And
but
it's
it's
like,
not
wow, it's
like
a lot.
a cozy show.
Yeah.
It's not Zootopia.
It's
Saying it's just Zootopia. It's like, no, that's a
It's
fun shiny show with an underbelly. This show is all underbelly.
It's how people will like attribute it because it's what they know.
Yeah.
But it's not the same in terms of themes.
All right. Actually, the last story, or the last thing we talked about, was this thing that came out of came out of the Game Awards.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Because during the Game Awards, there was the trailer for Shadow Labyrinth,
Yes.
which, to be honest, looked kind of dope.
It looked really neat. I think actually the trailer was pretty cool because we just stared at it and we were like, oh, what's this? And then we're like,
Wait,
shit,
what?
it's absolute. And then they show you stuff and you're like, it's Pac-Man.
I mean, it's like, I'm a big fan of I was a big fan of Shadow Complex, which was a sort of 2D, 3D roguelike, or not roguelike, Metroidvania. And it seems like that's what they're going for with Shadow Labyrinth, and somehow Pac-Man is involved. But anyway, and so there's that, and then there's, of course, the secret level
Also has that weird
episode.
Pac-Man episode thing.
Yeah, has a sort of Pac-Man thing. So,
Anyone watched that yet?
I have not.
No.
Okay.
Cameron's planning on it at some point, I think. He's going to let us know what it's like.
We're all going to wait for Cameron to watch
I
it.
think maybe.
Katsuhiro Harada, who is the head of Tekken stuff at Bandai Namco, was talking to IGN, and he says the game environment would be a good crossover for Tekken atmosphere-wise. When he was asked if the Shadow Labyrinth's hero, i.e. Pac-Man, could show up in
Tekken.
In Tekken.
Yeah.
And then, so what's interesting, so, this is like, could he show up there? And the guy being like, maybe,
Which seems appropriate.
which is sort of a non-committal answer, and it's not that interesting. But then it becomes interesting because he goes, many years ago, Iwatani's son, the original creator of Pac-Man, was still in the company when we were here. I thought that maybe using Pac-Man as a guest character in Tekken would be great. So I had an artist come up with a sketch, and it turned out to be a character that had a Pac-Man head and a body that was like big and muscular.
Just like a bodybuilder
yeah.
guy with a Pac-Man head, right?
Iwatani was displeased and scolded me, scolded me. But now that the Pac-Man creator apparently has signed off on Shadow Labyrinth, maybe he can see. So I like the idea. He's like, oh, this could be cool. And the guy who created Pac-Man being like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't do that to my little boy.
I mean, it's such a different thing that I could see your initial response being like, ugh.
I
But,
have never in my life, imagining, when you see Pac-Man for the first time, you just think he's a disc. Like he's just a disc with a waka 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 mouth, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't picture him as bipedal in any way.
Mm.
But we've had multiple incarnations, like official incarnations now, of what Bandai Namco thinks that Pac-Man looks like
so
as a bipedal creature.
His initial one, Disc, sphere with legs and arms.
Oh, but you're missing one already.
Am I?
Yeah, you're already missing the official arcade machine art on the side of the arcade machines. He looks like a cucumber with 2 feet.
Cucumber.
Yeah. I would say let's Google it and look for it, but it's the cabinet art has him as this weird cucumber looking thing with little walking cucumbers in Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
I forget their names.
the jellies.
Not the
The chews?
not the choo-choos that are like the ones that are electric, that if you hit them they zap you
Yeah, the little green.
and they have 2 little things.
I call them jellies, but I thought they were chews.
The chews, like the choo-choo jelly that you get is out of like blob-looking creatures that don't have feet, which is also a thing you could think of. But yeah, I think someone is going to post a picture for us. But yeah, see? He's like a weird cucumber-ish thing with feet.
I wouldn't call it a cucumber.
Do not see where you get cucumber there.
Well, because he's like cylindrical.
Okay.
He's more
Okay.
cylindrical because they have to put legs and feet on him, is how it kind of comes across.
All right.
But anyway,
He just considers anything with feet to be a cucumber.
yeah. Like, look, you're either a sphere or a cylinder, so
No, cucumber.
no. An egg is just a misshaped cylinder. Anyway,
Egg is a cucumber.
So anyway, nothing has actually come out of this. They haven't said it's going to be in there or not. But mostly the funny thing about this is just the idea that it's like, could Pac-Man be in there? I don't know. I did try to get Pac-Man in.
oh,
and
let me
then-
tell you how.
Yeah, and I made it was like Pac-Man head with a big buff body, and the guy did not like that. Mm-hmm. Which I quite enjoy. Hey, speaking of things being put into other video games,
Oh, good.
we've got 2, count 'em, 2 Fortnite adding a silly thing stories.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Guess it's time to clean up.
the first thing here, I'll do this one first.
Oh, good.
SpongeBob SquarePants
Okay.
will not be in Fortnite. But
Wait, what?
SpongeBob SquarePants areas will be in Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Wait. So
So
we won't put SpongeBob
they're
in
doing
there,
a
but we'll
SpongeBob
take his house?
They're doing a SpongeBob SquarePants crossover. But apparently like SpongeBob himself and Patrick and Sandy and stuff aren't actually
Skins.
like characters
Yeah.
skins in the game. But they're going to be adding 4 mini games or mini game like island places that you can go to.
Right.
SpongeBob Red vs. Blue, gear up for a thrilling round-based combat game. Players face off in a free-for-all battle using jelly blasters to eliminate competitors. I think they kind of want to avoid like SpongeBob
Getting shot?
shooting or one
shooting people.
shot, I guess.
I suppose.
Bikini Bottom prop hunt, hide and seek prop hunt with a bikini bottom twist. Hiders morph into everyday objects. Seekers must spot and eliminate them.
Right. So that everyday twist being
It's at bikini
it's
bottom.
just a
Yeah.
bikini bottom. It's hardly a twist.
SpongeBob Slap Fight challenges players to karate chop opponents off the map while collecting Krabby Patties for extra points. And Bikini Bottom Only Up. Start your journey in rock bottom and parkour through iconic Bikini Bottom landmarks, obstacle course style. So they're sort of adding a bunch of
okay.
like Bikini Bottom SpongeBob SquarePants like areas.
To a bunch of other games that other people have made and that they're now putting into Fortnite.
Yeah, because Fortnite is all games.
Fortnite is all games now.
Yeah. You got to go to different parts of Fortnite for some of those games. Or they call it Fortnite, but they add the word festival or something, and or Lego. It's all very confusing.
This is one of these great quote from the Paramount Vice President of Games and Emerging Media, Doug Rosen, who says, "We know so many fans of SpongeBob SquarePants are gamers. So it was a natural next step for us to bring Bikini Bottom to life in this authentic format for them."
I mean, that's not hard. A lot of people like SpongeBob, and a lot of people play video games.
Yeah.
Of course there's overlap.
We know that a lot of SpongeBob SquarePants fans are Middle-aged stoners. So we've opened a chain of cannabis stores across the nation that are
Yeah.
Bikini Bottom themed, so you can buy all sorts of weed.
I mean, there's like 2 or 3 actual SpongeBob video games out there, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's like, yeah, I think
In
there's got to
fact,
be at least like
one of
10
the
by now.
SpongeBob video games I know is like weirdly popular in speedrunning communities.
Yeah. I've heard
I think
about
the
that.
latest one was a Patrick specific one.
Gamers. You know what else gamers love?
Coke.
Toilets.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
realize we were looking for a segue.
Yep. That's right. Skibidi Toilet is coming to Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because why shouldn't it?
What that means is still a little bit up in the air.
Is it?
I,
It looks like there's just a toilet
I-
with a man's face in it.
yeah. So it brings up quite. So they've announced that there's going to be a crossover. And they will wait. Actually, wait a minute.
There's a collaboration and that's kind of it?
There's a collaboration, but then again, this article says that they're going to release more information on Wednesday, and this article came out on Tuesday, so maybe more information has already come out about this.
Ooh, okay. Well, skibbity.
Well-
Let's see if this
hop to a
article
hop.
headlined "The True Horror of Fortnite's Skibbity Toilet Crossover is Finally Revealed."
Was that just on the front page, or did you actually just
Somebody linked in.
you Kobe'd into this?
No, Maricat
Thank you.
linked to
All
it.
right. Jesus.
Yeah. Wait, we have
That's-
to. Let's full screen.
We're
this.
going to discover this all together, folks.
Yeah,
Good.
let's
I'm good.
discover this together.
Old people react to Skibbity Toilet. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. I just want everybody to remember that we, as a society of old people, also had a lot of memes that nobody else understood.
It's true.
Right. People with
Cameras,
cameras for heads are part of. Oh, it's a backpack. Ah. Oh, that's it. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I've done scarier.
One of those
The-
is the hero.
There's a question about whether, like, if there would be any issues with them, because it's basically using like Valve assets originally, anyway.
Oh,
'Cause it
yeah.
was using the G-Man.
Right.
So presumably they've had to change it a little bit.
Who the hell did they talk to then? Just the person who invented the skibbity toilet stuff, I guess?
I don't know.
Maybe
I
they talked to some company who says that they own it. There's a whole bunch of those on YouTube who say they own a whole bunch of stuff and so they can take your money.
The Skibbity Toilet bundle in the item shop, which is 2,200 V-Bucks.
Great.
You get a plunger pickaxe, the plunger head character skin, 2 backpacks, one that goes with the plunger head outfit, and another with the iconic Skibbity Toilet himself. There's also a Lego version of the plunger man skin.
There would have to
mean,
be, right? Yeah.
I'm not surprised. One of our
was the
more popular improv shows that we did that was definitely not filmed was it you or Ian who came out of a toilet as the toilet gremlin
Oh,
during a halftime?
I'm going to say it was Ian. Yeah. But that is what it is.
Skibbity
It's
Toilet
a-
has 77 episodes. Why?
Yeah.
No, you are incorrect. According to this article, anyway, Skibbity Toilet has 183
that
episodes.
sounds way better. Yep.
Okay.
And the channel has 44 million subscribers.
Yep. It is a very deep amount of lore, apparently, too. There's
Yeah.
this whole
Sure.
story and everything like that, and that's great. That's fine. I'm not, Before I was like, I'm mad at this thing that the youth enjoy. I got that initially, and I was like,
Oh.
I think this is stupid, and I don't see the point
I've
of
just
it.
never cared.
And yeah, but then I got to a point where I was like, actually, you know what? I don't really care about this.
But that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like
Good for the youth.
they can enjoy the thing. I get tired of seeing it pop up in places, but it's like it's not for me. I'm allowed to be tired of it, and that's okay.
I just got very confused because I quite enjoy the song "Skibbity" by Little Big, and I thought for the longest time that there was some connection between those two, but
Yeah.
I don't think there actually is,
No.
which is a shame.
I mean, meme-wise, there might be. Maybe people making memes.
There's a video out there somewhere of a VTuber singing a skibbitied up version of Jingle Bell Rock, which I listened to once. I'm like, oh, this is very stupid. I like it. And I listened to it a second time, like, yeah, but it's so stupid I don't want to listen to it anymore. I was like, that doesn't happen to me that often.
Yeah.
Badger.
Yeah, exactly. We had our own things.
Yeah, but at least a badger's a thing.
A toilet's a thing.
What the fuck a skibbity
A
is?
badger is an animal.
Badger.
Speaking of things, unpacking is a thing that you do with things. And there's a great video game about it called Unpacking.
Unpacking is a very good video game.
It is. It's a
Still
lot
a
of fun.
very good video game.
Now, if you were to buy it, be sure you know what you're getting.
Yeah, but because on the Nintendo eShop, and I would guess in other
Probably
locations,
a few other places.
yeah, other locations where Unpacking is sold,
Yeah.
it's there's an egregious pile of sort of fake unpacking alikes. I don't know what you would call them. I don't even know. I suspect these games aren't even anything like Unpacking, but they are games that are, you can see here.
Well, based on some of those titles,
They're games that appear to be pretending to be either sequels or new editions of Unpacking.
Weird that
Hunting
so many of them are
locations.
look at the prices, right? Unpacking itself is $19.99. And Unpacking Deluxe Edition, well, that's the one you would actually want, right? And that's, it's on sale. It's on sale.
It ends in the sale. I mean, 58% off. You're not going to get a better deal than that.
That's really good.
You better jump in on that
Yeah.
right away.
Why would I buy the original when I could buy the Deluxe Edition and get it on sale for like half the price?
So, yeah. I don't even know. This article doesn't
it's
actually
not
go
even the
into...
same font.
This article doesn't even go into like what the gameplay of these fake games are. But the problem, there's this problem, and the developer of Unpacking has been fighting with Nintendo to try to get them to do what they're supposed to do and manage their eShop.
And the larger thing, I guess the larger surprise I had was that, and when I think about it a little bit longer, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be surprised by this. But the larger surprise I had was like, well, my expectation was that Steam would be the place where you just see hundreds of thousands of knockoffs of a popular game, and that would be just like an absolute cesspool and a pit that you just couldn't find the right thing that you wanted to buy, or people
Yeah.
get scammed all the time. I assume that. And that Nintendo's would be like highly curated, we work with developers, we do these kind of things, and it's like, no, they open the floodgates, and
It's,
they had no way to it feels like Nintendo has no way to deal with scam games.
I don't think that's true. I think the reason we see Steam that way is because Steam is easier to put games on.
Yeah.
And so you do get like a lot more by volume, but I think most marketplaces have this issue. And I honestly think Nintendo has more than enough power to not have this happen.
Yeah, like you would expect just from the other sort of things that they do, that the Nintendo eShop would be a little more curated than some of the other more kind of Wild West ones, but
Yeah.
apparently not.
They probably don't feel like it's that much of it's something that they have to chase down, which is too bad, because they're the interceding entity, right? Like Ren Breyer, who makes Unpacking, is saying, I've been trying to get a hold of them to do something about this, and nothing is being done.
Yeah, so that is very frustrating, and hopefully that will hopefully getting some
More light on this?
more light. Yeah, on it seems to be the thing that
Yeah.
is these days. If you have a problem, you gotta tweet about it and get all your people
Well,
to
and, I mean-
bug the social media people of the place that you're
Yeah,
bothering you.
That's kind of the thing. What?
Yes, Dumbo 3K says if somebody made this same thing, same screenshots of that, but they called it Unpacking Mario Edition, then I think Nintendo would be like, well, hang on a second.
Probably. I think at that point that they're doing a word filter thing. Like I was gonna say is like the idea that these kinds of games get onto a store. I don't know that I have a big like, because again that comes down to then you have people who have to do curation, which might require a lot more resources than they want to put in.
Well,
But the idea that you have a dev who has a thing on your store who can't contact anyone,
yeah,
I think is egregious.
yeah. And the
That is a common problem with these kinds of stores. Is the developer support is just not there.
Right.
Both in terms of dealing with this kind of copyright thing, and also just like dealing with rejections or.
And generally, you take a much more like wide stance on this. Like I can see why Nintendo would, if the policy was like, well, we have to see whether or not this is meant to be a knockoff or what it is. It's like, I mean, because at the gut of it, we all feel sitting here. It's like those are clearly trying to bite on the fact that your game got popular enough that
Right.
people want to give it a try, and so therefore, your game isn't like. Your game isn't, I was going to say Mario and Rabbids, but like Apex Legends or Fortnite or something like that. But I'm like, Apex Legends, Apex is an actual normal word, and Legends is an actual normal word. Fortnite, N-I-T-E, is not an actual normal word. It's a word that they, spell that way for a reason. It's like unpacking is even more of a general kind of word. And it's like, well, Apex Legends is just two words put together. So if I make a game that's called Legends Apex, then you can't say anything about that Apex Legends because all I've done is I've just used two regular ass words that are in the dictionary. And so if the idea is like, well, anybody should be able to make a game that has the word unpacking in it, unpacking dev, you just use only that word. And if they want to call it Unpacking Deluxe Edition, that must mean that it's not a clone of unpacking or something that's trying to bite on you or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
Isn't
But also the intention might be a problem.
Isn't Unpacking also a Humble game?
I'm not
Was it
sure.
published by Humble?
I think it might have been, which might further complicate the issue.
Well, because that's the thing, right? When the game section of Humble went down and people couldn't because the dev trying to contact Nintendo, sure, but isn't it usually wouldn't be the publisher
but yeah,
who would be having that, who would have the more the easier time contacting someone?
Yeah, that line of communication might have gotten severed when the Humble, published by Humble Bundle, yeah. So that line of communication might have gotten
Like they
messed,
might just have a
gotten
harder
messed
time. Like I think they should still be able to contact someone, but it might. I wonder if this would be the same issue for them.
What you do
if
is,
who they were published through wasn't gone.
yeah, you make a match 3 game and you call it just the simplest ass match 3 game and you call it Unpacking Deluxe Edition Plus, and you put that up. So, and you make it cheaper than Unpacking Deluxe Edition and use like the same everything else that they would use for assets and whatnot, but tweaked slightly so that they can't say it's a copyright violation. And then you put that up at like $1.49. And when Nintendo says, hey, that's a problem, you can't, that intersects against this, is like, sure, well, what about this other one that this game, you're telling me that I'm biting this guy's copyright and that I have to leave the store? Well, what about this game that they're clearly biting on?
If you want to go spend your time trying to jump through hoops to get a game up just to do that, you go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately with these things, the response to that is usually, thank you for for submitting your question. We
Next
will
question.
Send an automated message like,
Yeah.
There's always that, it's like when YouTube or when any of there's these sort of things, it's like, if I just make my situation clear enough,
Yeah.
they will understand and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get caught in this this sort of back and forth with robots that are just like, you need to use this form to submit this.
Yeah.
That's the form that I use.
I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say is it's a waste of your time to do all of that work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a
to
shame.
probably not get what you want anyway.
I'm not saying that the dev of Unpacking should go do that.
No.
I'm saying that somebody else just for fun should try to
And
see.
again, a waste of their time as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of wasting time, we should not do that anymore for you, because that's the end of the thing.
Really? That's it?
That's all we
found
got.
all the gaming news and now it's done? It's gone?
I mean,
We did make it.
there was one small thing that was announced. I don't know if you'd be interested.
I like small things.
That Sonic 4 is going to come out in 2027.
Wait, like the video game? Didn't they do Sonic 4 already?
Is the third movie? The third movie comes out on Christmas.
Oh, is they talking about a video?
The third movie's already out, I think.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I thought
came,
it was.
came out on the 20th.
They had a whole thing that was like Christmas Day or something like that.
It came out on the 20th.
Okay.
But the ad did say Christmas Day, but the 20th was the first day it hit.
And in the credits, they have a thing like Sonic the Hedgehog will return in Sonic the Hedgehog 4 and Knuckles.
Yeah.
I'm going to never watch anything Sonic related with you again. And I'm going to keep Sonic just for me.
That's fine. You can do it. I still have to write stories about it, and you still have to edit Checkpoint.
I don't have to do anything.
That's true. You don't have to do
Your
anything.
stories could mysteriously disappear.
Sonic the Hedgehog will return in Thunderball. Yes, I like that.
In Spin Dash.
I did accidentally post a Checkpoint like a year or so ago with one of your Sonic stories missing because I thought we were at the end of a thing and I accidentally cut it out and I did have to republish it.
Sonic the Hedgehog will return in Octopussy the Hedgehog.
What I'm saying is I could take it out. I could make you never write about Sonic again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz was on Stephen Colbert, and apparently the headline for the clip on YouTube was that he wants to do like another 10 to 15 Sonic movies.
Yeah, okay, that one I do find a bit weird.
It's a very reliable source of income for him every couple of years. You know, just knock another one out. Good for him.
I think
Jim Carrey might be dead by that point.
I was going to say, I think Jim Carrey has gotten pretty fed up with them at this point.
I know the Eggman
he keeps being like, I'm not going to do anymore, and then they do another one. But
is a very optimal villain for Sonic, but he's not the only villain in Sonic.
Yeah.
He hasn't even fought like Mecha Sonic yet.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe he has in the third one. Anyway.
I could just bring in Sally.
So what we're saying is Sonic's 30th anniversary will
never
live
die
on in our hearts.
Until how long are we gonna like swap to 40th when they do a 40th thing, or are we just gonna like keep doing 30th beyond that?
I don't know.
It's my shtick.
Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't watched the episode of Checkpoint that we were sometimes talking about, you should check it out. It's up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is probably in the recommended next videos or something, if the algorithm is working properly.
Yeah, or you could just subscribe to the video.
Or you could subscribe to the channel. That's an even better thing to do.
you should do that.
Or you can become a member.
Some fun things on that channel.
If you become a member of the YouTube channel, you will get your name in the credits at the end of Checkpoint, which is pretty cool. And of course, you can support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or store.loadingreadyrun.com. You can buy all sorts of cool merchandise. I hope it's not a surprise that it won't arrive in time for Christmas at this point. Totally aside from the Canada Post strike, it's late.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You can give them give it as like a post Christmas present. As a present for you. You can get it for yourself and then be like, this is my Christmas present to me.
Yeah. Just in time for Christmas, I've ordered a lot of new merch.
Excellent.
I mean, just in time for my Christmas, so I don't have to do that over the holidays. You get nothing.
All right, everybody.
So, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you all later.
Have a gentle holiday.